Hi, I'm Alicia and welcome to the Mintay Papers YouTube channel. Today I'm sharing a beautiful mixed media project that I made on one of the Mintay Chippies Fancy Circle, and I also used the Mintay Chippies Nature 2 and the Golden Days paper die cuts. And I had a wonderful time creating this creation full of mixed media loveliness. To begin with, I painted the circle with just the white Mintay Kreativa chalkboard paint to give it a white base, and then I went over the top of the white with the Mintay Kreativa mustard color number 15. I had a lovely time adding in some of the number 14 beige color, and I also added in a variety of other colors from the Mintay Kreativa chalk paint collection. I was going for a vintage look to my frame, so I was happy to experiment with the different colors to create a vintage look. Once I had finished that, I moved on to my Nature 2 chippy, and again I used the Kreativa paints to color all of those in the same colors that I had used for my circle chippy. Here I am in adding some rust for a little bit of contrast, some darker colors. I was going for autumn or fall colors for this project so that I could tie those colors in with the Golden Days collection. I previously had created some molds that I wanted to use to give some extra dimension to my project, and sadly some of them broke, but it was okay because I could stick them back together. I painted those with the Kreativa paint. Then I used a craft knife to help me get out all of the little bits of nature leaves from my chippy, but you will probably find that after you have painted it with your Kreativa paint, they're much easier to get out. And you can see here all of the different colors and textures in the leaves. That's a really beautiful chippy page, and I had a lot of fun creating these leaves. Next up was the stamping. So I used a script stamp and some black ink to add some stamped writing onto my chippy. And then I used a different stamp with some brown ink to add some little dots for a little bit more texture to my project. Then I went around the edges with my distress ink pad to give it a little bit more of a vintage feel, and added some darker stamping dots. You can see my molds here. I painted them with two colors. I think it was mustard and then the white over the top on the elevated bits to give it more of that vintage look. And then I just glued those on. Then I inked over with a little bit of vintage ink. I had these flowers which I thought matched the collection. They're sort of like brown daisies. As I was trying to stay within the autumn color tones of the Golden Days collection. Here are the beautiful paper die cuts for the Golden Days collection, and I use them in my project to add to my floral cluster in the center of the project. You will see me cover a lot of the things up in this as I try to create a raised three-dimensional cluster. I also added a little bit of gold paint to add to that Golden Days feel. Then I started adding in my little leaves from the Nature 2 Chippy, and these really helped me with creating height in my cluster, and I poked them underneath bits and pieces. And then the fun bit started with just building up the cluster using all of the paper die cuts. I added a little bit of lace. Lots of these leaves in the different colors and shapes and sizes to create variety. And I just enjoyed the process of building up this cluster of chipboard and paper die cuts and flowers. I added in some cheesecloth, which adds a nice soft effect into the cluster. Just positioning everything in. This is a very enjoyable process and it doesn't need to be rushed. You can take your time to just enjoy the layering of all of the different elements. I added in some little gold sort of branchy leaf things that I had in my stash to just put a little bit more gold into the project. And I really enjoyed creating this. There's a little half a wagon wheel going in from the paper die cuts. I wanted to keep building it up in height. My goal was for it to be very three-dimensional. And lots of different layers that you can look at, making it interesting to the eye. few more of those little gold things. Just a big layering of flowers there. Just coloured the centre of those flowers with the gold paint. And just a sticker from the sticker sheet so that there is a sentiment on the project for the eye to gravitate towards. And the project is just about finished, just some little gold finishing touches. I had a lovely time creating this project, and I was really happy with how it turned out. I would seriously recommend you having a try at this. It's so much fun. It's really fun to get all of your paints and stamps and bits and pieces out to have a really enjoyable crafty session with some mixed media products. I added in a little bit of gold ribbon and a little bit of beige ribbon just to finish my project off. And here is the complete project. Lots of elements, lots of different materials, and a lot of fun to create. Lots of height and dimension. Lots of things to look at, and lots of beautiful Mintay products. It's a great way to use a large chippy. This could be hung on the wall in your craft room or given to a friend for a gift. But it really is a fun, healing, crafty project. I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope that you have a try with some Mintay chippy and some die cuts and some Mintay chalk paint and just enjoy your creative process. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely crafty day.